Welcome to Lesson 5. It's really important to make sense of math and to know that maths is a subject you can always make sense of. So it's partly the job of books and teachers to make sure maths is taught in a way that makes sense, but it's also about you. You need to know that it's your job to make sense of math. And one way to do this is to ask questions to yourself or your friends or your teacher. Questions such as,
why does that make sense? How does this work? How is this connected to other methods or areas of math?
Part of making sense in math is using intuition. Everyone has the natural ability to use intuition when they approach math. Using intuition means looking at a math problem and thinking, I have a general sense of this. I have a feeling about what works here.
It turns out that high-level math users use intuition a lot. And I want to introduce you now to one of those people.
Sebastian Thrun is an amazing person. He invented self-driving cars, he is a vice president at Google, and he led the development of Google Glass, the new funky-looking glasses that you can wear and record things by blinking. He is also the CEO of Udacity, an online course provider. Here is Sebastian, one of the world's most successful math thinkers and inventors, talking about intuition and math in life.
The sad part is when the abstraction comes along, putting this into formulas, people often lose intuition. They think, wow, these are like abstract little things we have to manipulate according to fixed rules. And those fixed rule manipulations are devoid of an intuitive interpretation. And that's when we should just stop. We should just not do it. We should refuse to do it. We should say, okay, I only am willing to manipulate equations I understand. I understand intuitively. And if it takes us longer, that's fine. I remember in my early scientific career, I stared at papers that, from today's perspective, look easy, and I would spend 2 weeks thinking about one math formula to internalize it. And after 2 weeks, I would get it eventually and understand it. And then these 2 weeks made this piece of complicated math really intuitive. I've never been able to make any progress in math without really understanding and having an emotional relationship to what's happening. For me, the critical thing in math thinking is actually not applying formulas. That's like the least interesting component. The most interesting thing is think like a mathematician. And thinking like a mathematician is a very intuitive thing. It's a skill that you can look at a problem and make an assessment when there are numbers involved, when there are quantities involved. It's the skill of making a baking recipe and understand how to scale it up to more people. It's the skill how to pack a truck when you want to move somewhere, and how the moving distance affects the size of truck you're going to rent, and the way you pack it, turns out. If you move short distance, you pack it differently, you move long distances. These skills in daily life, really, really good mathematicians to me have really insightful answers for those skills. And math to me is just a training course to be a citizen, how to think in the world of numbers, of people, of relationships, of time, of space, and so on. So if you can get kids that feeling of how to deal with these things and empower them and take away the fear, we win.
Intuition is really important in math. Every time you see a math problem, it is useful to stop and think intuitively. What do I think is going on here?
We want to show you what we mean by the difference between approaching math with sense-making and intuition and thinking about the big idea, as opposed to thinking only about one set method. We will first show you by asking you to have a go at this question. If it seems hard, don't worry, just give it a try, and remember that struggling means your brain is growing.